The, the Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Orathai Sitthichan. Chapter 28. The Treasure Found. Within a few minutes the news had spread, and a dozen boats full of men were on their way to the cave, and the ferry boats well filled with passengers soon followed. Tom was in TAoTS' boat. When the cave door was unlocked, a sorrowful sight presented itself. Red-skinned Joe lay stretched up on the ground dead. He had died of hunger. His face was close to the crack of the door as if his longing eyes had been fixed to the last moment upon the light of the free world outside. Usually one could find half a dozen bits of candle stuck by tourists in the cracks of the walls of the first chamber, but now there were none. The prisoner had searched for them and eaten them. He had also managed to catch a few bats, and these also he had eaten, leaving only their claws. Tom was sorry for him, for he knew from his own experience how this unfortunate man had suffered. But although he pitied him, it was a great relief to the boy to feel safe again. Red-skinned Joe was buried near the mouth of the cave. The morning after the funeral, Tom took Huck aside to have an important talk. Huck had learned all about Tom's adventures from the Welshman and the widow Douglas by this time. Huck described his entire adventures on Cardiff Hill, for Tom had only heard the Welshman's part of it. "Well," said Huck finally, "I expect that the money in the box has gone from number 2. It will never be ours, Tom." "Huck, that money never was in number 2 at the inn." "What?" Huck gasped nearly at his companion. "Tom, have you got on the track of it again?" "Huck isn't in the cave." Huck's eyes blazed. "Say that again, Tom." "The money's in the cave. Will you go with me and get it out?" "Of course I will." "But what makes you think that the money is?" "Huck, just wait until we get there. If we don't find it, I'll give you everything I've got in the world." "Isn't it far in the cave?" "I've been on my legs a few days, but I don't think I could walk more than a mile." "Huck, I'll take you there and back in a boat, and you needn't raise a finger. Let's start now, Tom." "All right. We want some bread and meat, and our pipes, and a few bags, and 2 or 3 kite strings, and some of those new things they call matches." At noon, the boys set out in a boat borrowed from a villager who was absent. When they were several miles below Cave Valley, Tom said, "Can you see that one place up there where there's been a landslide? Well, that's where the hole is." They lined a Tom proudly marched into some thick bushes and said, "Here it is. The finest hole in the country. I've always wanted to be a robber, but I know I have to have something like this first. Well, keep it a secret, and tell only Joe Harper and Ben Rogers, because of course there must be a gang for style. Tom Sawyer's gang. It sounds splendid, doesn't it, Huck?" "It does, Tom. And whom shall we rob?" "Oh, almost anybody. We'll lie in with 4 people, as robbers usually do." and kill them. No, not always. We'll hide them in the cave till they can pay a ransom. What's the ransom? Money. You make them get all they can from their friends, and after you've kept them a year, you kill them. If they haven't collected the money, only you don't kill the women. They're always beautiful and rich, and guaranteed to death. You take their watches and jewelry, but you always take your hat off and talk poetry. Robbers are perfect gentlemen. You will see that in any book. Why is Grand Tom? I believe it's ever better than being a pirate. Yes, it's better in some ways because it's close to home and circuses and things. The boys then enter the hall, Tom leading. They crowd to the farther end of the passage, make their kite strings fast, and move on. They presently entered and followed Tom's other passes until they reached the pit. The candles revealed that it was only a steep clay stop, 20 or 30 feet deep. Tom held up his candle and said, "Look as far around that corner as you can. Do you see that? There, on the big rock over there, danced with candle smoke. Tom, it's a cross. Now we'll find the real number 2 or less under the cross." That's just where I saw Redskin Joe hold up his candle. Hike started at the mysterious sign for a time, and then said in a shaky voice, "Tom, let's get out of here." "What? And leave the treasure?" "Yes, leave it. Redskin Joe's ghost is hanging about there. I'm certain. No, it isn't Hank. It would haunt the place where he died, at the mouth of the cave 5 miles from here. No, Tom, it wouldn't. It would hang round the money. I know the ways of God, and so do you." Doubt gathered in Tom's mind. Then an idea occurred to him. "Look here, Hank, what fool we are making of ourselves. Redskins gods won't come where there's a cross." "Tom, I didn't think of that. That's like it. That's lucky for us. Let's hunt for that box." Tom went first, cutting round steps in the clay slope as he descended. Hank followed. 4 passages opened out of a small cave in which the great rock stood. The boys examined them with no result. They found a corner in the one nearest the base of the rock, with some blankets spread in it, but there was no money box. They searched and re-searched this place, but in vain. "He said under the cross," said Tom. "Well, the rock is under the cross, and the money can't be under the rock itself, because that's resting solidly on the ground." They sat down discouraged. I could suggest nothing. "Look here, Hank," said Tom at last. "There are footprints and some candle grates on the clay about one side of this rock, but not on the other sides. Now, what does that mean? I bet you the money is under the rock. I'm going to dig in the clay." "That's not a bad idea, Tom," said Hank, brightening up. Tom's sniff was out at once, and he had not dug for inches before he struck wood. Some boards were soon uncovered and removed. They had hidden a natural hole which led under the rock. Tom got into this and held his candle as far under the rock as he could, but said that he could not see the end. he proposed to explore. He bent down and passed under the narrow way descent gradually. He followed its winding course with Huck at his heels. Tom suddenly turned a short curve and then exclaimed, "Good heavens, Huck, look there!" It was indeed a treasure box occupying a little cave. Near it were a couple of guns in leather cases, an empty powder barrel, 2 or 3 pairs of old boots, a little bait, and some other rubbish. "We've got it at last," said Huck, digging among 2 cards with his hands. "We are rich, Tom." "Huck is too good to believe. Let me see if I can lift it." The box weighed about 50 pounds. Tom could lift it in outward fashion, but he couldn't carry it conveniently. "I thought so," he said. "It seemed heavy that day they carried it and the hunter's house. It is a good thing that I brought the gas." The money was soon in the bags, and the boys took it up to the crossroad. "Now, let's feed the guns and things," said Huck. "No, Huck, leave them there. They are just the things to have when we go robbing. We'll keep them there all the time, and hold our meetings there too." They soon came out into the bushes, and lunched and smoked in the booth. Tom rowed back in the long twilight, and they went a little after dark. "Now, Huck," said Tom, "we'll hide the money in the widow's woodshed, and I'll come up in the morning and we'll count and divide. Then we'll hunt for a safe hiding place for it out in the woods. Stay here while I borrow Benny Taylor's handcart. I won't be a minute." He disappeared and presently returned with the handcart. They put the small sacks into it and started off, dragging the load behind them. When they reached the Welshman's house, they stopped to rest. Just as they were about to move on, the Welshman stepped out and said, "Hello, who's that?" "Huck and Tom Sawyer." "Good. Come along with me, boys. You are keeping everybody waiting. I'll pull the cart for you. Wine is very heavy. What have you got it at? Brick or old metal?" "Old metal," said Tom. The boys wanted to know why they had to hurry. "Never mind. You'll see when we get to Widow Douglas." Mr. Jones left the cart near the door, and Huck and Tom found themselves pushed into Miss Douglas' sitting room. The place was gladly right, and everybody that was of any importance in the village was there. The widow greeted them presently, but Aunt Polly blushed with shame at their dirty condition, and shook her head at Tom. "I made them rag at my door, and so I just brought them along in a hurry," said Mr. Jones. "And you did right," said the widow. "Come with me, boys." She took them to a bedroom and said, "Now, wash and dress yourself. Here are 2 new suits of clothes, shirts, rocks, everything. They are Huck's." "No, thanks, Huck. Mr. Jonas bought one and I bought the other, but they'll fit both of you. Put them on." "Well, wait. Come down when you look respectable." As she left, said a prayer. "Tom, Auntie has been waiting for you all the afternoon." "Why are all these people here?" asked Tom. is one of the parties that the widow is always having. This time is for the Welshman and his sons for serving her the other night. Some minutes later, two widows and guests, including a dozen children, were at the supper table. At the proper time, Mr. Jonas had made his little speech. He thanked the widow for the honor she was doing him and his sons, but said that there was another person who had played an important part in saving her. He then revealed the secret about Huck's share in the adventure. The widow having thanks and peers upon Huck, who, already suffering from the discomfort of his new clothes, and now to suffer a greater discomfort, the guest to appears to everyone. The widow said that her house was now Huck's home, that she meant to have him educated, and that when she could spare the money she would start him in business in a modest way. Tom's chance had come, he said. Huck doesn't need it. His wish. The silence was a little awkward. Tom broke it. Huck's got lots of money. Oh, you needn't smile. I can show you. Just wait a minute. Tom ran outside. The guests looked at each other puzzled, and inquiringly at Huck, who was tongue-tied. Tom entered starting with his thanks. He poured the mats of yellow kite upon the table and said, "There, what did I tell you? Half of it is Huck's and half's mine." The spectacle took everyone's breath away. Then there was a call for an explanation. Tom provided it, and there was scarcely an interruption from anyone to break the charm of its fall. The money was counted. The sum amounted to a little over $12,000. It was more than anyone present had ever seen before. At one time, though several persons were there who were worth considerably more than that in property.